up everyone, it's your boy Floz and we're back with another Beyblade IRL video. This time, we are going to determine which of the reverse rotation bays is the strongest. And of course, everyone knows what the reverse rotation bays are. There are the three l-dragos, Lightning, Meteor, and Destructor. They also have Gravity Destroyer and Varieris DD, the dual rotation bays, but still qualify as reverse rotation because they're awesome. I believe when I tested out these bays, I had them just in their regular stock modes, but I don't remember. But for now, like all of them, we're going to start with a quick stamina test. And they are up. Obviously, you see the three l-dragos up top with the Destroyer and Varieris in the bottom. Varieris and Destroyer seem like they're staying rather steady in the middle of the stadium whilst the l-dragos race around the top. I don't know how much that's going to do for the l-dragos, though. With the l-dragos being attack-type bays, they do lose stamina far easier than most other bays do. In fact, it looks like Meteor and Lightning are about to stop roughly around, we'll call that 45 seconds for the both of them. It looks like the remaining ones still have a lot of stamina left, so let's just speed this up a little bit. It looks like l-drago, Destructor, and Varieris are also both coming to a very close end, but not the same time. We'll call that 151 and 153. A couple second difference. Destroyer is still holding strong. Still has a lot of balance, but that's not going to last too awful long. Because like all things, they must come to an end. Destroyer is losing his balance, and ultimately, he goes down at around 2 minutes and 15 seconds. This one kind of seems like a given, but we have a joint last place of Lightning l-drago and Meteor l-drago. Then we have Varieris at about 1:51, then l-drago Destructor, and obviously Gravity Destroyer was going to have the most stamina out of all of them. But now it's time to see how they're going to fare in the battles. And in the first round of battles, they're going to go up against Dark Wolf. And I know many of them, actually only one of them really kind of fought Dark Wolf. But hey, this is one of my favorite bays and I haven't had many chances to utilize him up until now. So I'm going to do it. So how is this wolf going to fare against the dragons? Let's find out. Alright, first up we have Lightning l-drago taking on the Dark Wolf. And it was nearly a stadium out immediately. But I think l-drago wanted to have a little bit more fun with his prey. But it looks like that one hit at the very beginning took a lot of power off of l-drago. And not attacking Wolf is just causing him to lose more and more stamina. It did take a lot of power off of Dark Wolf though. Will Meteor have any better luck? This is a much more ferocious l-drago. So if it doesn't waste too much energy racing around the stadium, it does have a chance. But right now, Dark Wolf is just staying very steady at the center of the stadium. I don't know how much that's going to help it, though. However, I did just remember that l-drago has the rubber that can absorb an opponent's attacks, increasing its own spin strength. But how much is that going to help it in the end? It did help it a bit more, because l-drago stayed spinning slightly longer than Wolf did. We saw the first two l-dragos, now how much damage can the big bad Destructor do? It's going with very small barrage attacks to slowly drain Wolf's stamina and power. However, I don't know how much good that's going to do it, because it looks like l-drago immediately entered survival mode. If he hadn't, he'd be racing around the stadium, but it looks like he's actually wobbling a little bit. Oh, but he's also causing Wolf to wobble, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Oh, but then again, what do I know? That one That one was a tie. l-drago was stealing just enough power to keep himself sustained until Wolf couldn't. Destroyer, however, doesn't really have spin-stealing capabilities. So how is he going to fight against Wolf? And this is one battle we definitely did not see in the anime. Well, actually, now that I think about it, almost every battle after l-drago we didn't even see in the anime. We barely saw a battle after Lightning l-drago in the anime. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But it looks like the opposing powers of normal and reverse rotation are steadily draining the both of them. No one wants to make a finishing blow to knock them out of the stadium. They are both wobbling a fair bit. However, Destroyer looks like he's... Again, that one seemed a bit closer to a tie. Now it's Varieris' turn. What's this guy going to do in order to win? It looks like these guys have far more recoil than as any of the others did. Of course, Varieris does have its various has like 6 modes, but I haven't set it in his defense mode. His fusion wheel keeps going back and forth, but I don't believe he has the stamina necessary to keep up with Wolf's attacks. Yep, Varieris lost to Wolf. Okay, after those battles with Wolf, which I love by the way, I think I'm gonna have it something like this. Lightning l-drago at the bottom because Wolf still had much more stamina after beating him. Then Varieris, where he had slightly less stamina. Then it's going to be a joint second place for Gravity Destroyer and l-drago Destructor, because the both of them had ties. And then in first place, Meteor l-drago, because he was able to stay spinning slightly longer than Wolf did. Wolf battles were good, but it's on to the next ones. And next they're going to be fighting Earth Eagle. This was a bay that almost all of them actually did fight in the anime at some point or another. Maybe aside from Meteor l-drago. There was an opportunity, but I don't think it was ever taken. But we did see a majority of these battles in the anime, so let's see how they're going to fare in real life. These battles are going to be very interesting to see how they perform in real life as opposed to their anime counterparts. l-drago conserving most of his energy instead of racing around the stadium. Doesn't look like he's able to get enough good hits on Eagle, and if Eagle just remains circling around him while l-drago wastes time in the center of the stadium, l-drago is just going to lose all his stamina. But just when you think l-drago is going to stop spinning, steals a little bit of energy from Eagle until it's not enough. I don't think this is one we actually saw in the anime, but I'll be interested to see how it plays out either way. Because I think we actually saw Eagle fight all of these bays in the anime, aside from Meteor l-drago. He was close, but he didn't actually fight him. And do either of you guys want to make the first strike, or are we just going to be waiting forever? Oh, okay, first strike. l-drago already wasted a lot of its energy. Can it absorb Eagle's power through its rubber to keep himself spinning? It looks like that's what it's doing, but there's only so much power that l-drago can steal. But Eagle managed to spin slightly longer. l-drago couldn't steal all of his power. This will be an interesting one. Based on how they performed in the anime, I feel like Destructor should do some pretty nasty hits. Oh, started spinning around a little bit, but I think survive mode kicked in. Yep, l-drago is set in the center of the stadium, just graciously absorbing Eagle's power, trying to keep himself sustained. But I don't know how much good that's going to do him. He's already wobbling a good bit, and all his hits to his underside are throwing him off balance. There's only so much you can do. Stolen power is useless if you don't have the balance to support it. And you end up like that. We only saw this one for a few quick moments in the anime, but it still happened nonetheless, so I'm gonna count it. The thing is with Destroyer, he doesn't have many powers of recoil, so it's really just a matter of stamina between these two. Those tiny heads do drain each other's power, but it looks like Destroyer is trying to get low enough to knock Eagle off balance from below. And honestly, it looks like both Bey's attacks are working because they are both starting to wobble a bit. But inevitably, Destroyer's the one who stops spinning first. Eagle is dominating everybody. And to be fair, with this one we never saw a one-on-one battle, but it was more so a battle royale. But they did indeed battle, so I am going to count it. It was actually really hard trying to find a Beyblade that every one of these Beys fought in the anime. But Eagle is steadily draining Varieris' power with small attacks. But against its defense mode, it doesn't look like it's doing all that much. But now Varieris is on the offensive. He knows his power is running low, so he's got to do whatever he can to drain Eagle. But Eagle's power looks like it's going to be too much for even him to take on. However, they are both wobbling a good bit. Varieris a bit more though, and Eagle once again dominates. No one can beat the power of the Eagle. Okay, so none of them actually beat Eagle, which was kind of to be expected, but based on how much stamina Eagle still had at the end of every round, I think I'm gonna make it something like this. Lighting l-drago at the bottoms, Eagle still had much stamina after that. Then we'll probably make it l-drago Destructor, then Varieris, then Gravity Destroyer, then Medio l-drago. Yeah, I think that's a good one. But up next, now they're going to go up against the big boy. They are going up against Cosmic Pegasus. And this seems unfair for some of them because of the size differential, but I think it's going to be interesting either way. And Cosmic Pegasus is also going to stay in his stock mode. The ultimate battle of the reverse rotation Beys versus the Pegasus. Which is going to come out on top? Oh, I gotta find out. Let's go. Now it's time they all face the strongest Pegasus. I might need to readjust this. Oh, their attack. l-drago is trying to attack, trying to throw Pegasus off balance. And Pegasus is leaning down a good bit. Oh, final drive mode is activated for Pegasus. Is that going to be enough to launch l-drago out of the stadium? Ooh, l-drago stopped spinning before Pegasus. Cosmic Pegasus is a force to be reckoned with. Maybe Medio l-drago could spin steal through all of Pegasus' power. Oh, if he doesn't get a stadium out first. He's actually the closest one to get a stadium out. Pegasus entered final drive mode, trying to deliver more powerful attacks to l-drago. But now they're both starting to slow down. l-drago using whatever spin steal power he has to eventually end in a tie. This is the battle we all love to see. Cosmic Pegasus versus l-drago Destructor. l-drago Destructor spins violently around the stadium while Pegasus just stays calm at the center until Pegasus enters final drive mode and l-drago enters survive mode. But which of those two modes is going to win it for their Bey in the end? And actually, which one's going to enter their mode first? I actually don't know this. My bet's on l-drago. Could one of you hit the other, please? Thank you. Okay, Pegasus has entered final drive mode. l-drago entered survive mode. But which mode is going to bring the other one to victory? It looks like Pegasus' final drive mode took away the remainder of l-drago's stamina. I feel like this one would have been a very interesting one to see. But let's see how it's going to turn out. Will this one end up with a stadium out? Oh, very nearly if the wall wasn't there, probably. Oh, final drive mode is activated. Oh, Pegasus is going to need to get a couple more hits on Destroyer if it wants even a chance to knock it out. Oh, those hits did do a good bit of something, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. Because it ends in a tie. And now finally, Varieris. I wonder what his strategy against Pegasus is going to be. There might not even be much of a strategy if one manages to hit the other out of the stadium. Pegasus staying steady, leaning himself downward. Oh, never mind. Final drive mode kicks in. Oh, Varieris is all the way off balance. It's only a matter of time now. Pegasus wins, knocking him off of balance. Alright, that had some rather interesting results. But I think this is what we're going to do. l-drago Destructor at the bottom because Pegasus was still spinning for a good bit afterwards. Then probably Varieris because still a bit afterwards, but not as long. Then we'll probably go with Lightning l-drago. And then a joint first place because they both had ties. Pegasus was never defeated by one of them, but he did have ties. And ultimately, the winner of who the best reverse rotation bay is... this one right up here! I haven't calculated it yet, so it'll probably be here. But this is the strongest one! Was it the one you thought it was? There were probably better ways to do this one, but I don't care. I like doing it my way. And we're going to end this off right here. And remember, don't take these videos to be absolute fact. It's just for good fun. But until next time, I've been Floz MG. This has been Beyblade IRL, which reverse rotation bay is the strongest, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Bye!